Happy holidays, fight fans, from your boy Jeff Patello. We're here with another episode of the Undercard. Today we're going to be talking about Bellator 237, live from Japan, from the Sotoya Super Arena. Now, this arena, for me, holds a lot of great memories. A lot of great fights have gone down here. It reminds me of the great glorious days of Pride when they had all the top heavyweights, Fedor Emelianenko, fucking Big Nog, Kiritanov, right? They just had all the who's of the heavyweights were really fighting at Pride at the time, right? The UFC really didn't have much of a heavyweight division. Back in the day, we're talking about like 15 years ago, right? Now the UFC's probably got the most stacked, exciting fucking heavyweight division out there. But Bellator is no joke. They've had some good fights, and they're starting to put things together. I like what Bellator is doing. It's kind of slow growing, and I know they're the other guys, but some of the fighters that they have are no slouch, right? A fighter that fought on this card that I would love to go and see fight against some of the top-level opponents in the UFC is Lorenzo Larkin. That dude's a beast. Even Ryzen had an amazing showing out there, right? They had, what's her name? Kianna Manabi, right? Upcoming fucking talent, Chinese female. Monster of a lady, but they're starting to put some things together here, and hopefully we see some more like cross-level promotions. That's the kind of thing that I find very exciting about Bellator and Ryzen, and this card was featuring fighters from both organizations, which is absolutely top level, you know what I mean? But at the same time, too, probably could lead into some problems when we've got champions losing belts to other organizations, which I believe Bellator owns Ryzen's 155 belt, but I could be wrong. I'm not 100% sure, but I know one of the organizations has got the other belt. I'm gonna take a look into that after this and provide some info for y'all about it at the end of this video here. Anyways, to start off the night, we had Gautier Yamanuchi versus Darian Kruskshanks. Sorry, I butcher names all the fucking time. As I talk about these people and get a little bit more familiar, hopefully their names will roll off the tongue a little bit better. But we'll see. Anyways, this was one of those events that I was talking about. It was Ryzen versus Bellator. Oddly enough, this was very interesting. Gautier is a Japanese fighter that fights representing Brazil, and he represents the Bellator organization. And Darian is a American-born fighter that fights for the Ryzen organization. So I love when they've got like these organizational battles going on. It was a pretty quick fight. Ended in the first round. Gautier, I should say, is he's a big guy for like the 155-pound division. He's 5'10", lanky dude, has got some decent hands, but where his game really lies is on the ground, and it really showed. As soon as he had gotten Darian in the clinch, he had worked his way to take the back, took him down to the ground, and really never gave up position, right? They fought for a few seconds before things kind of got a little bit, dire situation. Gautier was able to go and get that rear naked choke, and Darian was just kind of out of his comfort level there. Solid striker, you know what I mean? Very exciting fighter, Darian is, right? But the ground game definitely needs to get improved upon. And he wasn't able to do much against Gautier, right? Love to see some more from this Gautier. He's a big dude. I wonder if he'll move up in a weight division or not, but you never know. He's still a relatively young kid, right? He's like 26 years old, so we're gonna see a lot more of him for sure. So that was like, that was a decent fight. One of the short and sweet, but like you got to see some high level skill, and you can't go wrong with a fight like that. One of the other better fights. Well, there was really in this one there was I'm gonna say there was like 3 good fights. The one that we just got done talking about with Darian versus Gautier was a good fight. Lorenzo Larkin versus Kintaro Nakamura, that was another good fight. As for the other ones, we had Kianna Manabi versus Ilyana or Ilara, sorry, sweetheart, butchered your fucking name. Joanna versus Kianna Manabi, and the two of them were it was a pretty entertaining fight, but what really stood out about this fight was Manabi. Manabi is one tough fucking female, just a tough fucking person in general. Who gives a fuck about a female? I didn't know much about Manabi, and I'm gonna be honest, I didn't know much about Joanna. But as they were both coming out to the ring, the fight announcers were talking about how apparently Joanna is in the same camp as Henry Cejudo, and apparently the two of them, when they scrap in the gym, the word is that like they go full tilted, right? So I was kind of expecting a little bit more out of Joanna, but, she's a relatively young fighter. She came out like fucking guns a-blazing, piss and vinegar, right? She actually knocked Manabi around. She landed a nice kick to the midsection, right? And she was like unleashing some good hands. She looked like she had control in the stand-up. And, what's great to see is like a fighter that recognizes that they're in trouble and that they are not winning in a certain aspect of the game, and that they have enough fight intelligence to switch things up. And that's what Manabi did. Manabi was starting to get tagged early on in the first round, and halfway through the first, she was able to leg sweep Joanna and take her down. And by the end of the first round, she was able to start landing some ground and pound. Not that they were doing like heavy damage or anything like that, but it showed that like she was winning the ground game, right? So that first round could have gone either way, you know what I mean? I myself gave it to Manabi just because of like what she was able to do with her position and advancing the position, and then was able to like land all those strikes. I believe if it was like 30 more seconds, maybe possibly 10 more seconds, they would have like stopped the fight, because Joanna wasn't able to do really anything on the ground, right? I think by the time she had mounted her on the back, there was about like 10 seconds left, right? Same with the second round, was more of the same, right? Taking her down to the ground, work that ground and pound, and stick to your solid game, right? Unfortunately, Joanna was a little bit outgunned in this one. Not taking anything from Joanna. Joanna's a tough cookie, right? But this is another one of those cases where a smaller fighter was fighting a taller fighter. To see Manabi in this weight division, I was shocked, really. She's just a very tall woman, you know what I mean? And her fucking arms, right? Fucking thick, yo. Thick arms, right? She is a fucking beast. And you know what? I'm really looking forward to seeing her again, I'm going to fucking make a mental note. Manabi, looking forward to your next scrap, girl. So that was another one of those half decent fights as well. You know what I mean? It was entertaining, right? It was definitely sporting. As for not so sporting fights, we had Michael Venom Page versus Sonoshi Anazi. And, I'm not taking anything away from Michael Venom Page. Michael Venom Page has earned the fucking right to fucking fight anyone and everyone. The dude is fucking top notch. The dude has got fucking phenomenal skills, skills for days. But I just don't know if they're challenging him. It almost seems like another Anderson Silva on our hands here. You got somebody that's such a high-level elite striker, and he almost seems too bored in there. I know he's a showman and whatnot, right? And he likes to show off for the crowd and whatnot, right? And I know it's like part of his game, right? You know what I mean? So, and that's cool and everything, but you almost can see that he's not really challenged in the ring, right? And hopefully they kind of fix something up there, I need to see him fight some like top level guys, before I see maybe him fight Lima for that belt, you know what I mean? I would really like to see him fight Rory McDonald, to be honest, you know what I mean? I really don't give a fuck about a Michael Venom Page fight unless he's fighting like a top 3 guy. At this point, you're fucking awesome, dude. And, to the people that don't know who the fuck Michael Venom Page is, you know what I mean? I can see how it's exciting for people to kind of, watch and kind of, ooh, you know what I mean? But those of us that have been on the Michael Venom Page train for quite some time now, we're kind of bored with some of his competition, right? We really want to see him take on the best of the best, And that's really it, Another one of these fights that just, was, I don't know, unnecessary, really, He even had him against, a smaller fighter, right? So, his striking, he was in no danger of, kind of losing that fight at all. No real danger, you saw him throwing the flying knees and he's just throwing it like a jab, just things right now look a little too easy for Venom Page. And you know what? More power to him. The guy's fucking incredible and a fucking phenom. But I definitely want to see him step up in the competition, right? You know what I mean? And it's not him, you know what I mean? It's just the guy likes to be active, and I'd imagine that it's very extremely hard for him to go and fight fucking big names, right? You know what I mean? He had that loss against Lima, and before that, the next biggest name that I could think of that he fought in between was that Cyborg, right? But it's been a minute, right? We definitely want to see him compete against the cream of the crop. That's what I want, and I'm sure, you know what I mean, other MMA fans out there want to see that too. Well, let's bounce back to another entertaining fight, at least. This card wasn't a snooze fest completely. This fight, even though it was a dominant performance from a single individual, and that individual, his name is Lorenzo Larkin, which is a Bellator guy. He was fighting another Rising guy, and Kintaro Nakamura. Tough son of a fucking bitch, man. Tough as fucking nails, but, just couldn't fire fast enough. Lorenzo was always first. Lorenzo is a beast of a dude, and this is one of, I think, fucking Bellator's well-kept secrets, He's doesn't have the greatest record, but he's also trying to figure a few things out, right? Apparently, Lorenzo Larkin at one point was a heavyweight fighter, right? And now he's down to welterweight, about 173 pounds right now. And Jesus fucking Christ, man, this guy looks like a goddamn machine, And the power is there, and I'm going to be honest. I thought he was going to kind of run through Kintaro, just the size-wise. But Kintaro's no slouch either, He's a big boy, and he's been doing this for many, many years. But like I says, what it came down to really was the speed of Lorenzo Larkin. Lorenzo was always like first one to pop off a jab, right? He was landing knees to the body, right? As much as though he was like dominating fucking Kintaro, fucking he was able to get in there and meet him, right? You know, even though he was losing, he was still trying to figure out the puzzle of Lorenzo, right? You know, and you got to give it up to Nakamura, right? The guy's got the heart of a fucking champion, that's for sure. You know, like fucking no quit. Most guys would have just crumbled, you know, like when, you know, it's like what Mike Tyson says, you know, everyone's got a goddamn game plan until they get punched in the face, right? Then it all goes out the window, right? So to see a fighter, you know, have things not go their way and then they fight, you know what I mean? They're trying to figure it out, you know. It doesn't go right all the goddamn time, you know what I mean? And this is one of those cases, but, you know, to see that his fighting spirit was so alive and strong, you know what I mean, gives me faith, you know. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I really don't give a fuck about an L on a fighter's MMA record so long as he goes out and puts on a performance, you know what I mean. You know, it's kind of like that Mexican fight mentality, you know, like you want to see guys go out on their fucking shields, right? You know, like I know, like, you know, people say medical conditions and concussions and this and that and blah, blah, blah. But I'm going to be honest. If these are your worries, then this isn't the sport for you, right? You got to leave everything on the line. And, you know, that's the one thing that I like about the Japanese organizations is they don't give up on people that have got, like, shitty records, right? They, if you come out and you perform, you'll fucking be back, right? The people fucking love you. And that's the one thing that I love about fighting out in Japan, right? Japan is just top notch, you know? Like, it is the strangest thing to go and sit there and watch a fight, you know? And, like, there's 55,000 people in the stands, but you can hear a fucking pin drop, you know what I mean? And the level of intelligence that is in the crowd is just top notch, right? They know when, you know what I mean? They know, like, when you've got, like, a certain transition that happens, right? You know, in the jiu-jitsu game, like, they're well educated. They'll sit there patiently, you know what I mean? As soon as, like, a change happens, that's when they, like, explode with happiness, you know what I mean? They start cheering and everything is great, right? It's something to see, right? You know, like, it's weird to be, like, in a fight, right? And you can hear the other fucking corner, you know? Not only your corner, but you hear the other corner perfect, right? It's eerie, it's odd, but it's something to be lo and behold, really, you know? And that's why like the Sotoya Super Arena, you know what I mean? It's just such a special place for MMA, you know what I mean? Like, if I have to go and say, like, if I had to really pick one arena on this planet, you know what I mean, that has had, like, the most, I don't know, like, historic kind of, you know what I mean, presence in the MMA, I would definitely say it's the Sotoya Arena. For sure. It has to be, right? Just top notch, right? All those events, you know, fucking Fedor fighting there, you know, Vandalays, you know, like, just all the big names have fought there, right? You know what I mean? It's a very special place. Even, like, what was it? Even when, like, Lorenzo came out, right? He looked back and was, you know, taking it all in, right? You know what I mean? Like, you're here, you're in Sotoya Super Arena, right? This is where, like, fucking legends have fought, you know, like, fucking, like I says, right? You know, just the Sotoya Super Arena and Pride, right? For me, they just go hand in hand, one and one, right? You know, just an amazing place, and you know, it will continue to be such an amazing place. Anyways, enough about talking about that. What we're going to do is we're going to talk about the main event, which was another snooze fest. So this is how I feel about this, right? We are talking about the Sotoya Supreme Arena, right? And I think this was half the reason that this was the main event, right? Was Fedor Emelianenko versus Quinton Rampage Jackson. And I absolutely love that they had the announcer come out and give us some old school pride Rampage Jackson. You know what I mean? Like, whenever they got called out in the UFC, he was always Quinton Rampage Jackson, right? And I was always like, fuck, that shit is so boring. You know what I mean? The Japanese and pride, yet again, always put on a fucking show. You know, like, I love those Bushido events where they had the fucking trees all set up and then the warriors would come out, you know what I mean? The trees, and they would all stand there, you know what I mean? They really put on a fucking show, you know what I mean? And that's a little bit of, like, what I miss, you know what I mean? The UFC just doesn't do that for me, you know what I mean? And I wish they would take a little bit of that too, you know? And I also like the Bushido events because it would be like a 10-minute first round and then a 5-minute fucking third round, which was amazing. Like, I would love to see that implemented more in either Bellator or fucking UFC. I want some fucking Bushido, baby. Yeah! Get back to those days. Those events were fucking awesome. I think the first 10-minute first round is something to be revisited. We need to look into that, you know? I don't like these fucking, I don't like these rounds going to cards, you know? I want to see fights. I want fights based on fights, right? Anyways, that being said, we're having some nostalgia here. Quinton Rampage Jackson. Oh yeah, that's right. This is how Quinton gets fucking introduced in Japan, right? They're like, Quinton Rampage Jackson! I fucking love that, you know? Oh, excuse me. But, whew, you know, like, the level of excitement, the showmanship, right? You know, fucking, that's what I love, absolutely loved about the Japanese people. But that was about as much as I loved about that fight, you know, seeing fucking Quinton come down to, you know, the old announcer's voice was pretty much the highlight. Other than old nostalgia memories, and I can see why Bellator did what they did, I don't want to see this shit again as a fucking headliner, you know? Fedor is no longer relevant. Fedor is only fighting fucking bums. And, you know, I'm going to say it, even though I don't like doing it, but fucking Rampage came out there looking like a fat fuck just trying to get a fucking payday. And it was fucking a disgrace to MMA. An absolute disgrace. I mean, this fat fuck had to go and fucking lose 7 ounces just to make 265. I mean, I have never seen Rampage look so big and huge before. And then that shot he took, he went to the ground, and then he was like shaking his head like he didn't want to fight. And then he pops up like saying like, why'd you stop the fight? That shit I don't like. I'm going to be honest, these last 2 fights that Fedor had, one against Chael Sonnen and this one against fucking Rampage, I don't need to see that shit. A big part of me thinks that both those 2 fighters took a payday. But that's just me and what I think, you know what I mean? Could be that just father time hit them fucking hard and they just put shit performances on. Who knows? But I'm going to be honest, I really don't want to see this shit again. I don't even want to see Rampage fight again. I don't even want to see Rampage fucking train anybody. And I used to have fucking mad respect for Rampage. I love Rampage Jackson. When he came in, this guy was a fucking just a wrestler. Didn't even have fucking boxing hands or anything. All he had was just a little bit of wrestling skill, you know? And this guy went in against competition like over top of his head. Like when he went and fought fucking Wanderlei Silva for the first time, that guy had no business being in the ring in there. But you know what? He fucking gave one hell of a goddamn performance, you know what I mean? And like that's the Rampage that I fucking remember and I want to remember. I don't want to remember, you know, a dude that just fat as fuck, man. It was fucking gross. Disgusting. You know, it was just shit, you know. The Bellator has got too much fucking talent on their card to go and be putting that type of shit together, you know? Like, I realize maybe Fedor, you know what I mean? He pretty much is the flagship, and why like Bellator, you know, is doing as well as they are, you know what I mean? Like fucking he is the Rock. But you know, it's time to let old things die. Right? You know, I don't even know if they're really just doing it for like well, it has to just be for a fucking payday, you know what I mean? Like and this is a problem with some like older fighters, you know what I mean? Just taking fights for just fucking paydays. I think like, you know, like with the personality that Rampage was, you know what I mean? He just needs to get hooked in with the right fucking people, you know what I mean? And he'd get going, you know? Like I think a guy like Rampage needs his own fucking YouTube channel. You know what I mean? Like the daily shenanigans that he gets, you know, get somebody to fucking follow him around with a goddamn camera, you know what I mean? Fucking, if he's going to the gym and fucking training other fighters, fucking do that. Take a camera around, you know, just something. He's just, you know, like you got to find something else, man. This fight shit was just not impressive. If it is though, what you want to do, you know, like fucking get after it and fucking do it, you know? I just want to see fights that matter, you know, and I want to see high level competition all the time. And that wasn't high level competition for a main card, you know, like at best amateur, you know. But it is what it is. Anyways, y'all have a good New Year's. Fucking much love. Thank you so much for sticking around and listening to me blabber. We are going to pump out another one of these in the next couple of weeks here. I'm working on a few things, and hopefully y'all will like them. Anyways, as always, I'm your host, Jeff Patello, and this is The Undercard. Peace, much love. Mwah.